Welcome to another Fireside Chat, and I wish I could say that the title was some sort of clickbait, but it's not. Trading, the stock market, however you want to phrase that, it's just simply not fair. And it's not fair mathematically. It's not fair economically. It's not fair essentially from just a real estate perspective. Fair from a currency perspective. What do I mean by that? Well, let's just hop right in, and we'll put this image, if you're assuming you're watching this on claytrader.com, but down below, and you're going to see what $100 gets you. So as you see right now, the title, the relative value of $100, and then that subtitle, which state offers the biggest bang for your buck, and you go through there, and you can see the various, essentially purchasing power of $100. This is from 2014. I tried to find something nearer term. I couldn't find anything more relevant. But this was only 4 years ago, so sure, things have maybe changed a little bit. But the point here being is, you look down at Alabama, $100 is actually giving you $113 worth of purchasing power. And then not shockingly, you go to California, for example, and you have 88, or you go out to Hawaii and you have 85. So the point here being, depending on where you live, that's where the how much bang for your buck you're going to get for the $100. Now let's bring this into trading. Me as a trader, I'm in Michigan. So that's going to dictate what we would call in economics, my cost of living. Meaning, what does it cost to fill up my gas tank? What does it cost to go to the grocery store? What does it cost for fill in the blank that's around here? Now, if I'm trading against somebody from, let's say, California or Hawaii or the state of New York, especially if it's somebody in New York City or somebody in not necessarily Illinois, but let's say Chicago, Illinois, what is my advantage over them? My advantage is I get more value from a trade, from the exact same trade than they do. So that is going to give me an ultimate competitive advantage right there, because if they're saying, no, I need this because they know what their cost of living is, and I'm saying, hey, I'm perfectly happy, then all of a sudden I have just an inherent advantage over them, because the $100 that I make compared to the $100 that they make, they're actually making less compared to me, even though it's $100. Now, compared to somebody, if I'm trading against somebody who's down in Alabama, down in those states, guess what? Now I'm at the disadvantage, because for them, hey, their $100 is worth even more than what my $100 is here in Michigan. And this is something that a lot of people don't really realize when they say, you know what, I want to go full-time trading. And I envision this, I envision that, I envision all these things. And it's just like, that would actually be possible if you lived here, or if you lived there, or if you lived over there. But then you find out, well, yeah, I'm gonna be a trader on Wall Street. All right, that's cool. That's a great goal. But you got to keep in mind that you're now living in New York City or living in a suburb, and that cost of living is going to be pretty insane. So you as a Wall Street trader competing against somebody down in Alabama, competing against me in Michigan, hey, guess what? If we're still going for that $100, you're going to view that $100 differently than I am, or somebody down in Alabama or one of those other states is, and we're just going to have a mathematical built-in advantage over you. So yeah, it's actually not fair when you stop and think about it, but it's an attribute that just exists because, again, it's real estate. And that's why I love real estate investing. I find real estate fascinating. Literally, depending on where a piece of dirt is, influences so much more in life. I mean, there's a reason why Southern California, that pieces of dirt has higher cost of living, because the climate is nice, and that's just, and I'm not even trying to get political. Well, the numbers don't lie. People apparently really want to live in Southern California. People apparently want to live in, these various other states. And in other states where it's not so populated, of course, real estate, cost of living, it's not going to be as much. But again, circling this and bringing it back to trading, just realize that. I'm not saying you shouldn't try to be a full-time trader, but if you are, and I realize there's a whole lot of variables here. I mean, if you're a single guy, a single woman, and you want to go be a full-time day trader, then perhaps consider moving to one of these other places where the cost of living is not so high. Again, I realize if you're like me, with a wife and 4 kids, and the kids are young, and hey, honey, we're moving to Alabama. maybe not as practical, but just something for you to consider, because trading the markets are not fair due to these external forces as economics and real estate when it comes to the cost of living. So just keep that in mind if you are starting to structure any sort of game plan to do full-time trading, or at least maybe just have it help you keep expectations in line with reality. Because if you think that you're going to be driving fancy cars and this, that, and the other and living in big mansions, or looking out on Nate, what's the big park in New York City? Central. If you think you're going to have some Central Park view, I'm not saying it's impossible, but you're going to have to get a whole lot more $100 bills than somebody that's living in Alabama to achieve that sort of standard of living. So just keep all that in mind. If you are out there trading alone currently and maybe are in the market looking for a community to join to assist you in your trading or to just help you, give you another set of eyeballs, then I do have a private trading community where you can trade alongside me and other experienced traders. So what you see popping up on the screen right now is both an information link. So if you click on the inner circle one, that is going to take you to the page where I explain all the details of what exactly come with the community, both the chat room and the newsletter. And then the other image that has popped up is a behind the scenes tour where you can see exactly what is going to be contained within the community. I take you through, like I said, a behind the scenes tour of everything, and that way you'll know precisely what you are getting when you join. So definitely check that stuff out if you are interested and thinking about wanting to join a community, and let me know if you have any questions.